Hello and welcome to episode 102 of the Giddy Knits podcast. It's been a while again, hasn't it? Today is Monday the 8th of November. October is finally behind me, my busiest, most insane month of the year. And I can relax a little bit again. So I'm back. For anyone that is new and doesn't know who I am and has just stumbled across this podcast for the first time, I am Helen. I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns. And this is my crafty podcast where I talk about the projects I'm working on, whatever crafts I'm doing. Yeah, that kind of stuff, really. I am based and coming to you today from Dundee in Scotland, where I live with my husband Tom and my two boys, Arthur, who is 7, and Jasper, who is now 5 because he's just had his birthday. Today, as I said, is Monday. I've said who I am. I've said what this is. So I think that's the introduction. It's been a while. It's been a month. I'm looking at my show notes and my last proper episode was the 3rd of October. So it's been over a month. There has been a little weekly vlog in the middle of that, which I hope you enjoyed. I uploaded the last bit of that weekly vlog yesterday, which was very, very late. But yeah, if you've been following along with my vlogs and things like that, you'll know that October was an insanely busy month. I had 2 events. I had the Traveller's Diary event. I had Glasgow School of Yarn, which is a 2-day yarn festival. I also had all of my advent calendars to pack and ship as well. So yeah, it was slightly insane. But advent calendars are gone. Shows are gone. October's clubs have now shipped this morning. So I can relax a little bit. Everything is under control again, which is nice because it means I've actually managed to get some knitting done. Right, the other thing that is gone, it's not quite the wording I want, the other thing that has finished at the end of October is one of our make-alongs. Should I say what I've got to talk about today, or shall I just dive straight in? I'm going to dive straight in. Why not? So we had a make-along running, the Halloween make-along, and that finished on the 31st of October, although because I was disorganised, I only closed the Ravelry thread today and I've not checked dates of entries elsewhere. So if you entered a few days late, you're in anyway. But I have been and drawn winners and we have quite a nice lot of prizes. I wish there was a pen next to me because I've just remembered that I've not written down one of the prizes. Right, let me write that one down. Okay, there we go. Just to remind myself what I was doing as a Giddy Yarns prize because I've only just decided. So we had in total across Ravelry, Instagram and Mighty Networks, which are the 3 places that you can enter all of my make-alongs. Across those places we had a total of 75 entries. So I allocated them all numbers. I started with Ravelry because that's the easiest because they're already numbered. So I think, oh, I made notes on it. Let's see. Posts 2 to 42 were in the Ravelry group. Then I did Mighty Networks. I allocated them posts 43 to 54. And then Instagram was posts 55 to 76. I then used a random number generator to pick posts as winners, and we have 5 winners. So in no particular order, we have got, well, the order is that I've gone from the ones from Ravelry, then the ones from Instagram, and then the one for Mighty Networks, but it is arbitrary. Okay, so the first winner who has won this awesome triangle Halloween bag from Jem at the Little Grey Girl. With these amazing, look at these cupcakes, Halloween cupcakes. This is such fun. And these are some of Jem's really brilliant bags because you can put them on your thing and you can knit with them. I have triangle bags, but this one's all folded up so you can't quite see it to the best of its ability, but I'm sure you will have seen them before. So the winner of that was the post number 14, which was a Ravelry post, and that was, I will put all of the names of Ravelry names and Instagram names and stuff like that on the screen, so it will be easier to see. But that was Looney is your Ravelry username, and that is Vera, and she knit a little pumpkin man. And I was looking back through the chat on Ravelry because I've not been very good at keeping up with the Ravelry chatter group. But it was quite nice because I was looking back through the chat this morning and somebody had suggested the pattern as something that they might knit. And then Vera had jumped on it as in, this is the most amazing pattern I've seen, and made one really quickly. So it was quite nice to see that your winning entry was actually a pattern that you'd discovered through the make along as well, which was quite fun. Plus he was super cute. So Vera, you have won this lovely little Halloween bag from Gem. Get in touch with me, let me know you've seen this, let me confirm your address and I will get them in the post to you. International post people, because you are in Austria or Germany, I can't remember. I will be sending them out through, I won't be using my normal postage system for Giddy Yarns, so I will send them out personally. And I will mark them as a gift because there is no money exchanging hands. So they are a gift because that's fine. So hopefully you shouldn't get customs fees on them. I've tried it before, marking them as a gift from my business account, but I think because it recognises that it's a business that's sending them, it doesn't always work. But I will not be sending them through my business account. They will be going out as personal gifts. Right, so that is the first prize. I'm going to just pop that over there a second. So the second winner, who has also won a bag, excuse the crinkling a second, you have won this amazing bag from Emma at Eldenwood Craft, one of her very famous sheep bags, which I really don't want to part with because it's gorgeous. I need to buy myself one of these at some point. And the winner of this one is Verena, who is Knit, Live, Love on Ravelry, and you knit a beautiful pair of socks. So again, get in touch with me, let me confirm your address, and I will get this one in the post to you as soon as possible. And then our third prize winner, who is an Instagram post, which was also a pair of socks, and your Instagram username is Crescendogal. I'm not 100% sure how I'm supposed to say that, but you are Rita. And you have won the lovely little skein of yarn and little treat set as well, because there's some hot chocolate and some tea in there, and there's also a stitch marker from the lovely Suzanne at Green Lambkin Yarns. So again, get in touch with me. Everyone, get in touch with me. I'm going to keep saying it. Get in touch with me when you've seen this. Give me your address and I will get these in the post to you as soon as I can. And then the fourth prize was again another Instagram entry, and that is Jill. Your Instagram username was jillybean_h. Instagram usernames are always fun to try and say, so are Ravelry ones sometimes. And you knit a little pumpkin. But I loved your Instagram photo because you knit a pumpkin and you put it in the oven for the photo, which was really, it made me laugh. But you have won this lovely skein of yarn, which was very kindly donated by Amber, who is Artistically by Amber. And this is her blush colourway, and it's gorgeous. It'd be a great neutral for going in a shawl or something like that. Absolutely stunning. So get in touch with me. Address, I'll post it. And then the final prize winner, which was a Mighty Networks entry, is Sophie Herden, who is a spring snowflake. She is actually the crochet designer who is doing the crochet design for my 12 days of Christmas boxes, which is really nice. And she knit a shawl. Now this needs a story, because the shawl that she knit out of yarn that I sent her when I was trying to dye up the February Club, I think it was, the Snow White inspired yarn. I had an absolute nightmare dye day. I mean, I cannot describe how bad this dye day was. It was absolutely horrendous. I must have ruined so many skeins of yarn. Nothing came out the way I wanted to, nothing went to plan. And then once all this yarn had dried and I'd skeined it all up and it was just sitting there and I was just looking at it and I hated it so much and I was just so stressed by it all. Basically, I got in contact with a group of knit night friends that I have, and I was like, who wants this yarn? Somebody just needs to take this yarn off my hands. And they all took like a few skeins of this yarn and I just sent it to them. I just wanted it out of my house. Anyway, so the yarn that Sophie had used to knit this shawl was my disaster yarn. So that made me smile. Anyway, it's nice that it's been used and it's gone to a good home, and even nicer that it's now won Sophie a prize. So Sophie, your prize, you have won my prize, my Giddy Yarns prize, which I decided I'm going to donate a Christmas Eve box, one of my Christmas treat boxes. So you won't get your prize until the beginning of December because it won't ship until the beginning of December, but you will be getting one of my Christmas treat boxes. So yeah, congratulations everyone that's won a prize. I hope you all enjoy your prizes. As I said, get in touch with me and we will sort addresses out, and yeah, I'll get your prizes in the post. We will still have the Giddy Yarns Make Along running, which is my ongoing make along, where if you use any project you make that uses at least 50% of my yarn is eligible for entries. And as always, you can enter that in Ravelry, on Instagram, or in my Mighty Networks group. All the details are down below the video, where you can find all the details of show notes and I don't know quite all the details of the things that you need to know about. Right. Yeah. There we go. That is all of the announcements and stuff like that. I do have some works in progress to share with you because I have actually done a small amount of knitting, which is a novelty over the last few months. Okay, sorry about that random cut. My camera seems to be recording in a different aspect ratio to the aspect ratio that I normally record in. And I was thinking I can't decide whether to change the aspect ratio or just go with it as it is and hope that when I edit it, it still works out okay. I'm going to go with it as it is and hope it works out okay. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it will be fine. I'll play with it when I edit it and it will be fine. Anyway, what was I about to talk about? Works in progress. So yes, I have been working on living in my lovely Emma Eldenwood craft bag, which is the only one of hers I own, and I really do need to get more. I've been working on my Armour Sweater. So I have just finished the string of pearls on this. I can't quite work out. That's the back, I think, and that's the front. So I've just finished the patterning on this. So this is the Armour Sweater, which is a pattern by Maddie Harvey. And it's a gorgeous kind of cropped, I think I've got pictures in here. It's a gorgeous kind of cropped jumper, which has this string of pearls detail at the top. There we go. It's black and white, but you get the impression. So I finished the string of pearls detail. I've just got a little bit more in the way of raglan increases to go, and then I will be splitting for the sleeves and onto the body. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad to be done with the string of pearls bit because they weren't difficult by any means. There was one row where you actually create the little string of pearls bit that was a little bit slow. But to be fair, it was 1 row in 6 of a pattern repeat, so it really wasn't that bad. I'm loving how this is knitting up. This is in 2 of my brand new colours, which are now in the shop because they went up in yesterday's shop update. So the dark green is Deep in the Woods, and the lighter green speckle is Granny Smith. Yeah, so that one, look at that cake, how messy is that? That one is Deep in the Woods, and that one is Granny Smith. So they're both available in the shop. They're in the shop on Merino DK, but I've also popped them up dyed to order, so you can order them on any base you want. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this. The green is going to be the main body. I just love this green. It's my perfect green. It's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I'm now on to simpler knitting because it's just onto the raglan increases, which is a paid for pattern, so I can't give away too much details, but I will say that the way that she does her raglan increases is really nice. I'm really enjoying knitting them. It's a bit different to anything I've done before in terms of the way she does her increases, but I really like it. So yeah, hopefully you will see more progress in this as time goes on. Yeah, I'm knitting it. Did I say I'm knitting it in the Merino DK base? So it's 100% superwash merino. It's quite a plump DK, but it's a gorgeous DK base. But yeah, so that is my Armour Sweater, which is coming on really nicely. And then what else have I been knitting on? My Gnome. My Gnome has not had nearly as much love as it should have done. They're such easy, quick, simple projects. Usually I can keep up with them quite well, but October happened, so I didn't, but I have picked this up and I have started working on it a little bit more. So this is Norwin, the gnome. It's one of the mystery gnome knit-alongs by Sarah of Imagined Landscapes. It's the most recent one that's just kind of finished. She has got another one coming in December, which I will probably be, well, I will certainly purchase the pattern and cast it on and dig out yarn. Whether I will finish it through December, I don't know, but we will see what happens. But look, this is where I've got to so far. So you start with the hat. This will be the front. Everything's reversed. That's confusing me. This will be the front of her face, I think. Yeah, she's got this little ice cream swirl up her hat, these little ice cream ball decorations, and I've just started on the body. My hat is slightly stuffed because I was having a nightmare sewing my I-cord onto the hat. Why is my camera doing jumpy things? You probably didn't even notice it. Anyway, I had a nightmare sewing the I-cord onto the hat with it flat, and I was really worried I was going to sew it on too tight and end up with it pulling too much when I stuff it. So I stuffed the hat slightly before sewing the I-cord on, and then I couldn't remove all the stuffing because I've managed to sew the I-cord to some of the stuffing. So I'm just carrying on the body with a slightly stuffed hat, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think I'm on clue 7 or something. I don't know quite how many clues there were, but I've seen the finished gnome, so I know what I'm aiming for. And I'm really enjoying the colours. I just picked out 3 mini skeins. So I've got this one, which I think is one of my ice mini skeins. I've got, oh, I can't get the yarn out. This one, which is the mini skein that goes with my Heatwave sock set. And I've got this one, which is the mini skein that goes with my Coastline sock set. So they're just kind of random mini skeins from my little stash of 20-gram mini skeins. But I really like how they're going together. And the plan is that this will become a little sample, which I can have on my stall along with the yarn. So you can buy little kits for gnomes, little gnome kits. But yeah, it's coming along, and it's nice to finally have some time to be able to work on it a little bit more. The other thing that I've worked on quite a lot this week is my colour therapy blanket. Chuck that down. Sorry, there's a bag on my bed, and every time I drop something on it, you get a great big crinkle. I was trying to say crunkle, but that's not the right word, is it? It's my colour therapy blanket. So again, if you've been following for a while, this is one that you won't have seen for a while. But I have been working on it this week. And look, I've nearly finished a square. So my colour therapy blanket is basically, I am knitting a Stitch in Time blanket, which is a pattern by Kay Jones, who is one of the hosts of the Bakery Bears podcast. And you knit these little blocks of 9 mitered squares, and then you border them and join them together to create a blanket. And I have been purchasing throughout this year, I've been purchasing the Colour Therapy Club from Erin at Henny Penny Makes. And I've been getting the 5-gram scrappy set. So let me pop the scissors out. Basically, what you get each month is you get 10 little 5-gram bobbins. You can see this is the one I've not used yet. You get 10 little 5-gram bobbins, and each month is a different set of colours. So I'm not sure which month this was. I feel like this might have been January, February, March, April, or May. I'm not sure. Anyway, this was the green month. Red, orange, yellow, green. So it would have been the 4th month of the year. So it's probably April. This is the green month. And each month you get like a little bit of information about the kind of colour therapy aspects of the colour and what the colour means and all of that kind of thing. And then I'm basically taking 9 of them. So I'm taking out 1. I tend to take out a semi-solid because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a pair of scrappy socks using the remaining bobbin from each month. So I'll have like rainbow socks at the end of the year, or probably halfway through next year, knowing me. But yeah. And then I'm doing a 9 square block with each month, and then I will join them all together. I think I want to make it bigger. So I'm thinking what I might do is also create some blocks which use a slightly different combination of colours to go in between. So I'll have the red block, and the orange block, and then I'm going to do something else in between. I don't know whether to do, I might do a block that's a mix of red and oranges, and then another block, and then in between the orange and yellow I'll do a block that's a mix of yellow and orange. I'm not sure. Or I might do like a solid block, or I might do, I don't know. I need to have a think, but I do want to make it bigger than just the 12 blocks. So I need to work out, but I think what I need to do is knit the 12 blocks, lay them out, and then have a think and work out a plan. Work out a plan from there. So we will see what happens. But I have very nearly finished the green block, which is nice. I've been very lucky because Erin has saved me months when I've managed to forget to buy them, because that's happened a couple of times, and she's kept one back for me so that I can always get one off her, because I said to her, I want all year, and if I forget to buy them, let me know. I will send you the money and you can send me the yarn, but I want them all. Really, I should have just said that to her at the beginning and just paid for them all up front. That would have been quite a good way to do it. But anyway, they are coming, and I am working on them again, and it's been really nice. I've been really enjoying it this week. And then the two other things that I've got to share with you, I pop these ones away quickly. Not managing to get them back in the bag. There. Got them in this lovely bag. So this bag is a dodgy bag from Ali at Little Drops of Wonderful. I sent her a prize and a few other little bits for her, and as a thank you she sent me one of her dodgy bags, and I've got one of her little "You Are a Little Drop of Wonderful" pins on the bag. Right, so the other things I've been working on are, technically, I started these as samples, but I will finish them as socks. The first one is my Lycan sock set. I have finished the tube that I was knitting. So basically, both of these are, I'm using my 70-gram sock sets, which is where you get 50 grams of the main colour and then 20 grams of the contrast. And what I wanted to do with the Lycan one is I wanted to knit a tube that used approximately half the yarn. And then I will eventually put a heel in this so that I can show people, because the question I get asked a lot at shows and also online is, you know, can you knit a pair of socks out of that amount of yarn? And if I've got this size feet, what type of socks could I knit, etc. I've got size 6 UK feet. So what I thought I would do is I would knit a tube, and then I would put the heel in where I would put the heel in for a size 6, and it would give you an idea as to kind of the length of leg that you would get. So that's what I've done. So the stitch marker marks where I would put my heel in for my size foot. I just haven't got around to putting the heel in yet, but it gives you an idea of kind of how long a leg you would actually get. And I actually only used 20 grams of the main yarn rather than 25 grams of the main yarn, because I thought, well, that way it gives you a little bit of leeway. You know, if you've used 20 grams of the main yarn, this is how long a tube you get. This is kind of the length of sock you've got. And then you're not desperately panicking about playing yarn chicken, because in theory you should have kind of 10 grams or so left over at the end. So yeah, I need to knit the second one. And then I need to put some heels in. And I think what I'm going to do is literally just knit another tube, and then put the heels in. I used the contrast, although it's not really a contrast on this one, it's more of a coordinating. I used the coordinating mini for the heels and toes on this one. But yeah, that one's coming along. I need to cast on the second sock. It's living in my lovely Halloween bag from So Yarnalicious. I love this bag. It's a great little one, similar to Gem's in that you've got the strap, so you can actually knit and keep it on your wrist at the same time. And then the other one, again, is a very similar sample. Is it actually in here? Yes, it is. Good. I grabbed 50 grams of my Woodlands colourway. In fact, actually, this one, this was a spare 50 grams because I didn't dye up enough minis. So I don't have a contrast mini for this one. But I just have the 50 gram skein, and I'm just going to make myself a little pair of socks. They'll probably be slightly shorter socks, because I'm not going to use a contrast, although I might I think I'll use a contrast heel and maybe a contrast toe. I've not done a contrast cuff, but I'll have to just dig out a mini from my stash somewhere. But yeah, that's that one. So that is the Woodlands one. I wanted to get a little bit of, I was working on this at Glasgow, and I wanted to have a little bit of a sample for the photographs when I listed the sock sets. Both these sock sets are in the shop, by the way. So if you are wanting to knit your own pair of Lycan or Woodlands sock sets, then they're ready. I really like this one. This came out exactly how I was envisioning it. I wanted to dye something similar to Lycan, but just with more Woodlands colours. So you can see I used exactly the same technique to knit both of these. Oh, I did use the same technique to knit them, but what I'm trying to say is I used the same technique to dye both of these. So as you can see, they've come out very, very similar in the way that they knit up, just with the different colours. So that was really nice. Really pleased with how they came out. Yeah, so that basically is everything that I've been working on. Can you hear my stomach rumbling? I hope you can't. I haven't actually had any breakfast. It was a bit of a rush this morning to get the kids to school because Tom is on campus now on Monday. He's teaching again. So he had to leave before 8 o'clock, although he did drop, it was a random aside story. Here we go. So we've got 2 cars now, which is a new thing for us. We've not had 2 cars at any point in our marriage. We've been married, oh dear, 13 years. We've been married 12 or 13 years we've been married. And we've only ever had 1 car, which has been fine. It's worked for us absolutely fine. But we're starting to get to the point now where when I go away for yarn shows, he's left without a car. When the kids are now starting to have different activities. So they both do football on a Thursday night now, but they both do football at the same time at different places. So that adds a bit of complication. So yeah, we've just bought a little runaround car. It's big enough to get the kids in, but it's quite a small little car. Anyway, but our regular car, my car, is due its MOT, but we couldn't get it booked in until after the MOT had run out. So it's currently sitting on our drive with no MOT, and I can't drive it. But we needed to take the yarn clubs to the post office this morning, and Tom had to leave really early. So he took the yarn clubs to the post office for me on his way to work. But what was quite amusing was that apparently the postman at my delivery office was one of the ones that I see quite regularly, recognised the parcels, realised it wasn't me, and asked after me to make sure I was okay, which I thought was really, really sweet. Anyway, he left really early, and I had to do the whole school run myself, which I'm kind of not used to because he's been working at home for so long that I'm used to him always being here to help out with the school run. So yeah, having to get back into the swing of that. Anyway, that was all my knitting progress. I do have, more crinkling, quite a lot of yarny goodness to share with you. Well, not, I say quite a lot. Yeah, it's quite a lot. I have a fair amount of yarny goodness to share with you, but I'm going to share it anyway. So a few of these things were from Glasgow, and a few of these things are things that I'm sharing, but you're not actually going to really be able to see anything. One of them is going to crinkle a lot. I received the 2 advent calendars that I've purchased this year. So the first advent calendar that I purchased for this year is the Corner of Craft advent calendar, which I am very excited about. I'm going to put it down so that it's not crinkling too much because it is Dungeons and Dragons inspired. I'm going to dig out, I've got a few kind of Christmas boxes or something like that, which I'm going to dig out and put all of the little bags in at some point. Well, on the 1st of December. I'll get them all ready the day before the 1st of December. Yeah, I'm really excited about a D&D inspired advent calendar. And then keeping with the nerdy geeky theme, I also purchased an advent calendar from Laura at Bumbling Yarns. And she did a nerdy advent calendar. So it is a very nerdy advent calendar. and it is all in there and it is all wrapped up, and I am very excited to be able to open that throughout December as well. So they have arrived and I am keeping them very safe, resisting the temptation to open them. And yeah, I'm also going to have 2 more advent calendars because why not? Although neither of them are ones I'm purchasing, so it's not too bad. I purchased 2 advent calendars. I am doing a swap with Erin, Henny Penny Makes. We've done it for the last couple of years. If you've watched my Vlogmas series, you'll know. For the last 2 years, we've done a swap. So she's had one of my advent calendars and I've had one of hers. And we're doing the same again this year. So again, she's having one of mine and I am having one of hers. And I think I'm going to make another blanket like I've done for the last 2 years. I've made blankets out of her advent calendars and I feel like that's becoming a tradition and I really enjoy it. So I think I'm going to do that. And then I'm also taking part in the Lay Family Yarn swap where we do like little 5 gram scrappy swap basically. So I'll have a little think about what I'm going to make with that. I might make a pair of socks with it this year. I'm not sure. I haven't decided. I made a pair of mitts last year, but I don't really wear them, to be fair. So I don't know. I'm going to have a little think about what I might make with that one. Or I might just put it into some kind of blanket or something. Haven't decided. Anyway, that's advent calendars that have arrived. I'm really excited about advent calendars. I also picked up some yarn. So I bought, while I was at Glasgow, I bought this skein of gorgeous yarn from Claire at Cookston Crafts. I'd seen this online and fallen in love with it. And then when I went to her stall, I was having a little look at her yarn and this was the one that jumped out at me. So yeah, it had to be purchased. This is her Neep colourway, obviously inspired by turnips, as I would call them. And yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? I don't know what I'm going to make. It's probably going to be a pair of socks, to be fair. But it's really, really pretty. Gorgeous. And then I also picked up a skein of chunky yarn because I don't dye chunky and I don't really own any chunky, but I picked up this lovely skein from Katie, Sealy McWheely. This is her Sailor V colourway and it is a 80% merino, 20% nylon chunky. And I think I'm going to make a hat. But this is not enough yardage to make an entire hat. So I also grabbed from Jem, in fact, I didn't even grab this at Glasgow. I took her yarn home with me because she shipped her yarn to me and I shipped it back to her. So I got the yarn back and before I shipped it to her, I delved through and stole a skein of yarn with permission. And this is the skein of yarn that I went with. And I'm going to put these together to make a hat. So this is Jem's Thane colourway. It's the same base. It's an 80% merino, 20% nylon chunky singles. And these are going to make a really cosy hat. So if you've got any pattern recommendations for a chunky hat in 2 colours, preferably not colour work. If it is colour work, very, very simple colour work because I am not very good at colour work and I don't particularly enjoy it. Despite trying and really wanting to enjoy it. Yeah, these are going to become a hat together. So I need to come up with a pattern. And then I also grabbed 2 bags from Jem, both of which I didn't pay for. And she very kindly gifted them as a thank you for the fact that I had basically transported her yarn to and from the yarn show. I picked up one of her TARDIS small bags in the Halloween cupcakes because I couldn't resist. It's absolutely stunning. I love this fabric. It's so fun. I want it to be Halloween again now so that I can use it again. Although to be fair, I'm probably going to use it all year anyway because it's just super fun. And then I also grabbed one of her new bucket bags. So these are brand new. I've not even really put this together, so it needs a bit of, there we go. So boxed bottom. And then it squidges down and then it has handles. So it is a cute little bucket bag with a drawstring in fun knitting fabric. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using that one for a project at some point. In fact, I might put the hat project in it. But yeah, it's nice to see some new styles of bag from Jem. I have far too many, as you'll know if you've watched my podcast for a while, but I don't care. So that's all the yarny goodness. Just going to finish off with a little bit of shop news. I'm going to have a slurp of tea before it gets too cold. So let me move my show notes so I can remember what I was going to talk about. Christmas treat boxes. Christmas treat boxes are currently in the shop at the moment. I will sidle over this way a little bit and pop up the image for the Christmas treat boxes on the screen there for you. So basically they are very similar to the treat boxes that I've done throughout the year. So you will get either 120 gram sock set or 100 grams of DK, depending on your choices. That sock set you can choose throughout all of my bases. You will get a festive stitch marker, a progress keeper, a sweet treat and a hot chocolate, and also a couple of scented tea light candles as well. I had a bit of a nightmare getting hold of the Yankee tea light candles for the Halloween box. So I've not specified that they'll be the same Yankee tea light candles as I have been using for all of the treat boxes, because I think there's a little bit of a shortage issue. A lot of the suppliers that I've been using are very, very short on the different scents and things like that. So I don't know, maybe they've been discontinued or something, but I will source some scented tea light candles to be included in the box. Yeah, and pre-orders will be open until the 15th, unless they sell really, really well and I need to close it early because of managing the numbers. They have sold quite well to start with, but I don't anticipate a massive flurry. So they should stay open until the 15th. So they're there, and they will ship on the 1st of December to be with you in time for Christmas. I'm not wrapping them up this year. Last year for my Christmas Eve boxes, I did wrap them all, but I'm doing a larger number this year, and just time-wise, it's going to take too much to wrap them all and pack them. They will be shipped in a cardboard box, so you could just wrap the cardboard box if you wanted to put it under your Christmas tree. So that's that one. Shop update. I had a shop update over the weekend. So there's still plenty in stock. A lot of things have been restocked. A lot of the colourways from my collections have been restocked. I've changed the way that I do my listings. So when you go into a colourway, instead of having multiple listings for each different base, what I've done is I now have a drop-down menu. So when you go into the colourway, there'll be a drop-down menu with all my bases. And if you select the base, it will let you know whether it's in stock or not in stock. If it's not in stock in the colourway listing, then a lot of my colourways are available dyed to order, where you can order any of my bases. So if you have a little look at the colourway you're after in the ready to ship section first, and if the base you're after isn't there, then pop over to the dyed to order section and order it dyed to order. So that's that. Oh, 2022 clubs. I wanted to talk about 2022 clubs before I finish. I haven't quite decided on my sock club for next year. So I'm going to do similar to what I've done this year, in that I'm going to run a minis club and I'm going to run a sock club. So this year it was the Marvellous Monthly Minis and the Once Upon a Yarn Club. Next year I'm going to do similar. I haven't quite settled on the sock club yet. I've got a few ideas, but what I'm struggling with is, do I want the idea... Basically, one of the ideas I'm thinking of doing is a Beatrix Potter sock club, but I'm struggling with whether I want to do that as a yarn club or whether I want to release a Beatrix Potter collection. So I don't know. But then there's so many Beatrix Potter books, aren't there? And I kind of wonder if actually it might run really nicely as a yarn club and I could do a different book inspiration each month. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think about that. Otherwise, it's all. I'm going to pick something else, something similar along those lines, but I haven't quite decided. So that's my thought anyway. And then my minis club I have got planned out. So the minis club is going to be the Middle Earth Minis Club. It's all going to be inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien's world of kind of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So each quarter will be inspired by a different one of the books. So January, February, March will be inspired by The Hobbit. April, May, June will be Fellowship of the Ring. July, August, September will be The Two Towers. And then October, November, December will be The Fellowship of the Ring. So you've got The Hobbit for the first 3 months of the year and then Lord of the Rings for the rest of the year. And the minis will all be inspired by kind of places, people, characters, events, things throughout the world of those books. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited about dyeing it. I'm going to change up the way I do my pre-orders for it slightly. So the pre-orders will open the last week of the month, and they'll stay open for kind of until so they'll stay open for 2 weeks. So they'll open the last week of the month, and then they'll close around I can't remember when I said, around the 10th of the month, something like that. Basically, I just want to give myself 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks to dye them up, because this week they've been open, the pre-orders have been open for the first half of the month, and then I've only had like a couple of weeks to dye them up. And actually with the minis, that's quite a lot of work, because you still have to skein them all, and then you have to pack them all, and it takes a lot of work. So I need to give myself a little bit more time. So they'll still ship in the last week of the month, but the pre-orders will open for the next month before the club is shipped. It shouldn't make too much of a difference, but it should just give me a little bit more time to manage my workload with them. But yeah, I'm excited. So the first pre-orders for those will open at around the end of December. Anyway, I'm rambling again now. I need to go and do some work. Podcast-wise, so Tom is teaching on Mondays for, I think, pretty much the rest of this year. So my plan, now that my workload has reduced slightly, my plan is to take Monday mornings to podcast, because I can come up here. I'm actually sat at the desk where Tom tends to work if he's working from home. So I can come up here and record. I get a decent light because I'm right in front of the window, and it should work quite nicely. And then, so Mondays going forward, hopefully, will be podcast day. That is the plan until Tom's work day changes, and then I have to rethink things, but hopefully for the rest of this year at least. Right, I'm going to go. Thank you very, very much for watching. Prize winners, please get in touch, and I will see you all hopefully very soon. Bye.